All right, good morning or afternoon or evening, whenever you kids are hearing this. I just wanted to take a couple minutes here to explain in our with our position paper. We've done a good job coming up with a topic and a stance and even a thesis, um, but I'm not so sure that we're understanding how to organize our notes under our arguments. So, along with the topic, stance, and thesis, I also think we have some decent arguments. Depending on the class you're in, you may be required to have 3 or 4 arguments, but everyone is required to have at least each note, or excuse me, each for each argument, at least 2 notes. So that may be a stat or a quote from an expert in the field, from a reliable source. So we'll talk about citing and things like that later. But for now, I think it's really important that we be able to have the skill to put the right support with the right argument and not just go onto websites, collect quotes and stats, and then just sort of sprinkle them throughout the paragraphs. So as we look here, the topic is capital punishment. The stance is against capital punishment. And the thesis that we've made is simply yet effective. I believe the capital punishment is an unfair practice. So as we look at argument 1 here, it's it's an unfair practice. Basically, the first argument is it does not deter crime. The second is that it's irreversible. Third is that it's expensive, and fourth, that it's immoral. So everything under it's to deter crime. This needs to all have to do with deterring crime. Not that it's not a nice thing to do. Not that someone in 1928 was found innocent. He's been in jail for 80 years and now he's out. It only has, so everything that I'm circling here has to just do with deterring crime. So let's see how we've done. Murders have risen 2% since the death penalty was in place in the United States. So that definitely fits there. And as we look at the second one, Sam Wilkins said, "When I shot him, I didn't care about the punishment." So Sam Wilkins, we assume, must be some murderer here who may or may not be on death row. But he's saying, I didn't care. It's not, I didn't think one bit about, that I might be put to death, so I better not kill this person. Okay, so it does pass the argument support correlation test, I guess, here. So those definitely do fall in place. Let's just take a look at another couple examples, and then I think we've gotten the point across and we can end the video. It's irreversible. So, meaning you can't go back. Once you have put a person to death, there's no correcting any mistakes. So, a note that we found here is 78 death row prisoners have been freed in the last 10 years. So, 78 lives have been spared because of evidence that has come forth and basically exonerated these death row inmates in the last 10 years. So, definitely having to do with not being, or it being irreversible. And note 2 is DNA evidence proved that Tom Wilson of Texas was innocent after being put to death, showing that, unfortunately, it was too late for Tom. And thirdly, a fellow prisoner admitted guilt that set Nicholas Richter free. So not just DNA evidence, but admissions can be evidence enough to reverse verdicts. I think we're getting the point. Let's just finish up here. Argument 3, it's expensive. All the notes and all the supports in those boxes need to have to do with expense. That's it. So we have it costs $500,000 or $500,000 to keep a person in jail for life and $2 million to put them to death. So nearly 4 times the amount of money it takes to put someone to death because of the appeals process. So that definitely is in the right spot. And talking about morality, pushing a person for doing what you, or punishing a person to do for doing what you're doing is hypocritical, says Yale criminal professor Dave Benassi. So this Yale criminal professor is certainly an expert in the field, and his word is strong enough to be considered a logical support. Finally, the people that pull the lever could be put to death for what they are doing. It sends a mixed message, says Judge Robinson. So that definitely also having to do with the immorality, meaning, if the law is doing it, it should be punished as well. So I just wanted you guys to see this example here of the topic, stance, thesis, the four arguments, and then the topic or the four arguments here, and then all the notes that go directly underneath. And notes just sort of don't go haphazardly throughout the paragraphs. So I hope this was clear and will help you, because written organization is very important to an effective paper.